Okay, Alligator 2, The Mutation. A lot of people, from what I've seen, tend not to like this one. I really enjoy it. It's an inferior sequel. Yeah, it absolutely is. I'm not going to argue that, but I still think this one's a lot of fun, and it's rounded off by a cast that just really works great together. The cast just feels really natural. We have Joseph Bogna in the lead, Dee Wallace, Richard Lynch, who plays an alligator hunter, Woody Brown, Steve Reiselbeck plays the villain Vincent Brown, Brock Peters, who Star Trek fans will know as both Admiral Cartwright and the father of Captain Sisko from Deep Space Nine, all work really well in the movie. And these scenes where these actors are in scenes together, they just all gel and fit really well and just feel natural together. We have a company run by the villain Vincent Brown dumping chemicals into the waters, which are poisoning fish. It causes the gator to grow bigger, and he's pushing smaller communities out for development, which, although it sounds good on paper to bring more money to the area, the human cost is he's pushing the poor people out, and there are people who are starting to turn up missing. We see that vagrants are missing, and it begins with two Hispanic men fishing and getting killed by the alligator, one of which is the uncle of a woman who goes to the police station, and Joseph Bogna's character, who's a police officer and is really respected by the poor Hispanic community, looks into it. And there are some funny quirks with this character, he'll park somewhere and they'll even point out that's not a parking spot, and he'll just, so that's what they keep telling me. He's kind of he's a good cop that doesn't have a problem going against the book if he knows it's the right thing to do, and he has that reputation, because there's even scenes with his captain, played by the dude from Star Trek. His name just went up, Brock Peters, and he's telling him this is wrong here, and the captain's like, yeah, I get it, but there's only so much we can do. And he tells him, all right, but this is the last time. And Joseph Bogna just replies, all right, well, when you tell me this is the final last time, we'll negotiate. So, yeah, they gel together. They have this, just all the actors do have a good chemistry. The rookie cop he partners with throughout the movie, their thing feels very natural and it just works really well. Even when they get the alligator hunter in later, and some of the banter back and forth on the radio, this is after they encountered the gator and seen how tough it is, and he's like, Hawkins, I'm telling you, this isn't your normal alligator, you need more men. Well, we'd be laughed out of Mississippi if word got out we brung an army. No, Louisiana, one of the two, and yeah, Louisiana, and it's this back and forth, and he's like, you got time to pick your own funeral music? Anything bluegrass, son. You have my permission to dance when I'm 6 feet under. So they just have a great, that's why I enjoy this movie so much, is how well the cast just meshes together, and it shows how something that's more mediocre can actually be saved by a well put together cast. It doesn't even have to be a high end cast with a bunch of great actors. If you just get a cast that just naturally gels and just works really well together, it does magic, and that's what this movie does. Whenever like you have characters interacting with the villain, it feels natural. Like when the alligator hunters come in, and one throws a knife, and the captain's like, "I'm gonna lock you all up in a minute." Or when they confront him about the chemicals, Kane Hodder, who plays Jason, is one of the gator hunters and gets killed by an alligator. So if you ever wanted to see, by the alligator. So if you ever wanted to see Jason Voorhees killed by an alligator, this is your movie. It incorporates some stock footage from the first movie. It's used sparingly. The microscope slide works. There's a few scenes in the sewer with the gator walking. I don't mind, but there are other scenes where like it shows the gator going into the lake from the first movie and the scenery doesn't match with this movie, and there's even some wonky editing at times, like when the gator's first coming at the two cops in the sewer, you like see reeds from where its nest is, but yet there's none of that in the sewer. And this all actually takes place on the main character's. It starts out on the main character's birthday, so yeah, fun birthday for him. I do really like this cover, even though the characters aren't exactly well representative of the movie, but this just looks like an awesome 90s comic book cover. The movie even, it does suffer from the budget. You can tell they didn't have money for a full animatronic gator, but again, I feel like for the partial animatronic gator they have and the way they shoot it, it's done really well. Not much of a body count in this one, and unlike the first one, where this is rated R, this is PG-13, and I do feel it kind of suffers. It should have been an R rating, but it does really well, and it still flawed, but it works. I know not a lot of people like this movie. I'm willing to meet those people halfway and say I still enjoy it, even though it has its problems. The way they kill the gator is a little more over the top in this one, but it's a fun, enjoyable ride. I'm really glad Shout Factory re-released both these movies. This one hadn't been out since the only previous release this had was a DVD, and I'm not 100% sure this got an official DVD release. I might be wrong. I think it was relegated to bootleg and VHS, but don't quote me on that. Either way, it was cool for Shout Factory to give us the 4K Blu-ray for this and the Blu-ray for this. And they released them at the same time. Like, I kind of suspected Shout Factory, Arrow, or one of them was eventually going to re-release this movie, but I never saw this coming, and I'm really happy with both of them. So that's Alligator 2. I'll give it a C-. Got its problems, but still very enjoyable. Next, I'm tackling a sequel I really love, Jaws 2. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Over and out.